Hello and welcome to Hillshire Media. And we're here with Jin Lan Cera. How are you today, Miss Sarah?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So let's just go ahead and get started. Now, we've talked a few times, but now we have some more interesting things we like to ask about your book. So in your book, you mentioned being inspired by brilliant stars of life scientists. Can you elaborate on some of these key discoveries and how they shifted your view of the world?
Yes, of course. First, thank you very much for having me again. And I look forward to a very engaging and exciting episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So before I was led to those brilliant stars of life scientists, I got re-educated by two very young Qigong practitioners. They are Xiao Cui and Xia Minghong from YouTube. So otherwise, I would not have the foundation to understand the profound studies from those master-level life scientists and very likely overlook their efforts and achievements in unveiling the mystery of the universe and life.
Okay.
So in one video, Xiao Cui interviewed Mr. Sha Minghong, a life science researcher and a new Qigong practitioner who did not believe in Qigong, although generations of his ancestors were Qigong masters. This interview really opened my mind a lot. So it not only helped me to understand why Qigong and the meditation are actually the same thing, but also helped me to realize how prayers work. Before that, I always believed that prayers are just wishful thinking. Nothing may change because you prayed. Now I know that not only everything within your body is in your command, you can also change things in distance or far away from you with your mind. Or you can also invite helpers from outside with your mind.
Okay.
So during the interview, Mr. Shah, he described how his research team of Qigong masters healed broken chicken bones within 12 hours or within 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And they repeatedly experimented the same thing for like 100 plus times.
Okay.
So to put this into perspective, according to the president of the College of Animal Studies, mentioned by Mr. Xia, a chicken typically takes 3 to 4 weeks to form a poroma, another 4 to 5 weeks to heal the bone, and 1 to 2 years to completely recover to the point where the poroma disappears. So in the best case scenario observed by Mr. Xia's team, it took an incredibly brief 2 minutes and 17 seconds for a broken bone to heal completely, leaving no trace of the prior fracture. So unfortunately, this rapid healing occurred so swift that his team couldn't capture all the necessary X-ray images during the process. So instead, they cited a case that took 6 minutes and thoroughly documented in their published research paper.
Okay. So I'm trying to understand. So they used the a chicken healing themselves.
Not use not the chicken healing himself. No, it's the chicken has had a broken bone. The qigong masters used their mind to put the chicken in how should I say, relax, right? In peace, and then they manipulate the age of the chicken back to when it was not broken.
Oh, okay.
So the bone was healed. Yeah. So in the book I mentioned that in the qigong practice, there are many, but the basics, they have about four pairs of those command, like those keywords to order the objects, how they should move, right? Like open and close, or grow and go back time, things like that. They have those keywords to command the objects to change according to their will. Yeah, and also at the same time, in the Qigong master's mind, the invasion, the chicken to be completely healed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now the healing stories from Mr. Cha's team are incredible. What was your initial reaction to these cases, and how did they challenge your previous understanding of science and healing?
As Mr. Sha pointed out, such miracles could happen because of the ultimate truth of oneness. Before this re-education, I thought that the concept of oneness, or 天人合一 in Chinese, was just wishful thinking. I didn't know that it is the ultimate reality that no one and nothing can escape. So Mr. Sha's research team really impressed me and inspired me to dig deeper into the science of consciousness. Then I watched a lecture by the Stanford professor, Dr. Tony Nader, who has obtained his MD and PhD from MIT and Harvard. And he mathematically proved that there is only one true observer in the universe. So he called that observer the unified consciousness. So his mathematical analysis was very challenging to a lot of people. Fortunately, I took a lot of math courses when I was in college, so I could follow his lecture and understand him. So it gave me the confidence that I was in the right direction. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now you mentioned Dr. Tony Nader's idea of unified consciousness. How did the concept change your perspective on the connection between science and spirituality?
So after I watched a lot of documentaries about life science studies and the science of consciousness, a flood of incredible information entered my life. Although they were from all directions, they all pointed in the same direction: the existence of the spiritual realm, which is in the dimensions that time doesn't exist. I couldn't believe that before, but now I can understand why it exists, although we can't see, because our vibrations are too low, and just like we can't see the blades of a spinning fan.
Right.
We are slowed down by our attachment to the material world. So, however, if you have a pure compassionate heart, you may have high enough frequency to access the spiritual dimensions. That's why many people, when they were young, like young kids, they can see more things that we adults can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in an interview, Professor Gong Zhebin from Wuhan University, he described how his research team of young children did various miraculous things with their mind. So, although Professor Gong himself did not open his own third eye, the gateway to the spiritual dimensions, he trained a group of pupils to open their third eye, that they could operate in the spiritual dimensions and then project the requested results into our space-time reality for the research. So the professors give them goals and request the kids to manipulate the objects into the condition the professor requested. Yeah. Okay. So Professor Zhou analogized those young researchers like the service dogs to the blind people. Life scientists need them to do research in the spiritual realm, just like the aeronautical physicists need astronauts to study outer space.
Right.
Yeah. So Professor Gong especially emphasized that there is no requirement or conditions to open the third eye except age, because the Taoist teachings believe that all human beings were born with the third eye open. Just our overuse of the six senses and the food we consume caused it to be calcified and dysfunctional. And he even showed some videos of those young children's lab works and mentioned some very interesting details of his research. For example, in a video clip of his research team, a boy was moving a glass bottle on a glass table with his mind. And when the interview asked Professor Gong what the most impressive things that the pupils did in his lab, and he said that there was a boy who could put a red fingerprint on a piece of paper without ink. And this experiment also did by another professor's team that I saw on another interview. So very interesting. And then in another experiment, Professor Gong put 5 matches in each sealed glass jar and asked the pupils to make the matches disappear from the bottles. So they all could make the matches disappear in front of the adult instructors. But the pupils themselves, they could still see the matches flying in the air. The adults just see.
And all of this was because they were tapped into having their third eye open.
Yeah, when their third eye open, they are on the mode of their spiritual how should I say? So it's like you have a mind and then you have a awareness, right? And then when they are right, so they are in. It's like in a deep meditation mode. But when we do meditation, we thought we just sit there, do nothing. But it's not. Actually, they can be doing things there. Yeah. Okay. It's just they are more aware than our normal human beings. Yeah. So Professor Gong Zhebin, who from Wuhan University, and Professor Zhu Mianlin from Yunnan University, and Professor Li Sicheng from National University of Taiwan. They all confirmed that there are wise helpers in the invisible spiritual realm through their countless life science experiments. After seeing so many evidence from different reputable sources, the dots started to connect.
Right.
Yeah.
So now the idea of wise helpers in the spiritual realm is fascinating. Did Professor Gong's team ever interact with these helpers, or was it more of an intuitive understanding?
Not just intuitive understanding, they exactly interacted. For example, during a training session of finger reading word, right? the instructors teach those young children to use their fingers to touch the word in a sealed bag, and so the kids were not allowed to look at the words, just their finger touch the words in a sealed black bag. And then they ask the kids what they see, right? So in a session, the word see in Chinese was on a note. An illiterate preschool kid opened his third eye and said, "Hai," which means sea, right? So the researcher team then asked him how he could know, because they all know he was a little kid, never learned how to read, right? So the kid answered, "First, there was the view of the sea with the sound of waves, and then a clear sound pronounced the word 海 in the background." So another example during that match experiment, a kid broke the matches into pieces in the spiritual realm, and then the pieces came back but spread all over the laboratory, and some of them hidden in the corners that was not easy to see. But that kid could find every piece of them and put them back into the bottle. So when the researchers asked the kid how she could find those secretly hidden pieces, she said that on her third eye there was a map of the whole laboratory. Then there were some red arrows pointed at each hidden piece. So the researchers concluded that there was a wise helper participating in their experiment. Yeah. So also Professor Gong's team attached a camera on a GPS and covered it with a ball. And then a kid used his mind, sent it to 100+ million miles away. Not a million, I was wrong, 100+ miles away, while the GPS was monitoring its location. The kid later brought it back, and the camera recorded a lot of very valuable information to the scientists to study. So such credible life science studies, they are incredibly incredible or incredibly credible. Right. Yeah. So such studies, amazing studies, convinced me of the existence of the spiritual realm that coexists with everything and everyone. Otherwise, it's impossible to have such interaction between humans and non-living objects.
Right.
Or between humans and spirits. So just like we must have a phone to call another phone, so we also must have a spirit within us to be able to communicate with another spirit in the spiritual realm. So I was convinced that each of us has a spirit living in our body, and that spirit can independently exist without the body. Before, I was like, no idea. I thought the body is me. There is nothing else.
Yeah. So, and as we get older, because, of the different things, as you stated before, that makes it, a little bit more difficult and challenging for us as adults to tap into that. But it is there, and with work and practice, we can get back to that, correct?
Yeah, that's our, like we all tend to want to go home, right?
Right.
Why we want to go home? Because we want peace, we want stability, we want to go to where we came from. So it's also our spirit. Our spirit has the need to go back to where it comes from, which is the source of the universe. So it's like guiding us when our body is doing too much crazy things. The spirit wants to guide us back. Yeah, that's why we receive those information to show us this is true, is not what you usually believe. And then if you follow the path, you get easier, abundant life and more free. And if you don't listen, don't pay attention to those signs, you go your own way, and then you might get more hit. Yeah.
Now, you rejected ancient religious scriptures for 56 years. Can you share the moment or discovery that made you consider them? What was the most surprising revelation during that transition?
The first moment that made me to reconsider the ancient religious scripts was after I saw a few lab videos of Miss Sun Chuling, who made deep-fried peanuts back to life and grew inches in minutes with her mind. She also made cooked eggs back to raw and an overripe apple back to raw, and also fried shrimps back to alive. Wow. So such experiment proved that time doesn't exist at higher dimensions, because the age of anything can be manipulated at wish if you are a practitioner of the awareness. So our root is actually the awareness.
Okay. Yeah. Now, the experiments by Miss Sun Tulin, they sound incredible. How did witnessing those transformations change your views on what's possible beyond physical science?
Miss Sun Chuling is a highly reputable life science researcher and Qigong master from China University of Geoscience. Her whole career had been working with the top scientists of the country to study the mysteries of life through her extraordinary mind power. So I have no reason to not trust her words. So her experiments with those deep-fried peanuts reminded me of the Heart Sutra, because in the sutra, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva exposed to Sariputra that time doesn't exist and our consciousness has no boundaries. I could not digest such concepts before because time is so concrete in front of my eyes, and obviously I can't know what you are thinking. So Ms. Sun Chulin's experiment proved that the age of everything can be manipulated back and forth, and there is no boundaries between her consciousness and the consciousness of the peanuts, apples, shrimps, right? So they were just like totally very clear, very transparent to each other like that. So that also means in the spiritual realm, time has no meaning, right? So I realized that I need to revisit those ancient scripts and study harder with a new perspective. And what made me become a serious Buddhist was my father's passing. And I missed him so much, but nothing else could help me to reconnect with him. So I resorted to finding solution from the Buddha's teaching, and it worked very well ever since.
It's nice to find something like that when you're looking without knowing that you're needing. Now, you mentioned rediscovering ancient teachings, especially through Buddha's insights. Now, how has this new understanding impacted your approach to life and spirituality?
The most surprising revelation during that transition was that I realized that the universe has no mystery to the Buddhas. I thought that no one in the universe could know everything. But Shakyamuni Buddha said that as a Buddha, he could know every thought of every life at any time. And he said that all lives are future Buddhas because we were Buddhas before, and we have never lost our Buddha nature. We just forgot how to use our innate gifts. So his teachings are helping us to find our own gifts and give them a way to make our life meaningful. Yeah.
Then that's something to look into, isn't it? I appreciate you telling us about that. Now, how did you reconcile your scientific background, because you have an extensive science background, with the ancient teachings of Buddhism and Taoism? Were there any challenges in bridging the two seemingly different worlds?
Because both Buddhism and Taoism are empirical. Probably the other religions too, right? I just know these two better. So they also have very detailed steps to follow. So they are actually very scientific. And so I had no problem understanding them once I saw the evidence from reputable institutions. I also did my own experiments on different subjects. And talking about the challenges in bridging these two seemingly different worlds, 3 people helped with that. The first one was Dr. Alan Wallace, and the second one was Nikola Tesla. The third one was Lao Tzu.
I did not know that about Nikola Tesla. Now, in your exploration of consciousness and reality, you mentioned insights from Dr. Alan Wallace and Nikola Tesla. How did Dr. Wallace's views on consciousness and Tesla's perspective on energy and vibration shape your understanding of why events unfold as they do?
At Dartmouth's discussion on the nature of reality, Dr. Alan Wallace pointed out that scientists failed to study consciousness deep enough to be able to comprehensively explain nature and reality. As the observers, scientists endeavor to explain everything in nature as made of physical particles. They failed to include the nature of consciousness. And in this regard, both Buddhism and Taoism have very systematic explanations and offer the methodologies to test.
Okay.
Yeah. So although he left the part of consciousness, Nikola Tesla helped me to see the world with the perspective of energy. and its innate feature of vibration. So this perspective helped me to understand why things happen or not happen due to the rule of synchronicity. Yeah, in scientific language, or due to karma in Buddhist language. That means if you want good results in the future, raise your frequency or think positive and focus and be focused from today. Right. So you will have chance to synchronize with the higher vibrational beings and manifest happier reality. In other words, if you want good results in the future, seed positive karma seeds today.
Yeah, and I found that that's been helping a lot recently over the last few months. I've been taking, the teachings in your book, to heart and using some of the practices. In fact, one of the part-time things that I do just for fun, because I like getting out and I love driving my vehicle. I drive a Jeep Wrangler, which is, for me, just driving, it's fun. So I drive Lyft occasionally. And there was this one particular Sunday morning that I got a fare for, it was a very high dollar fare. I'm like, okay, I'll do this one. And it turns out it was this nice little lady who wanted to go to Oklahoma, because I live in Texas, and she wanted to go to the casino, which is like an hour away. I was like, okay. And I told myself, I said, okay, this is a sign. The universe is telling me this is where I'm supposed to be today. So when I dropped her off, I went in for a minute. I spent $20 and I won $100. And while I was there, a good friend of mine was having a really bad morning, and she called me upset. And I stepped outside and I told her what happened. And I said, okay, as soon as I'm done with this, real quick, I'm going to come get you and we're coming back. And I went back and I won a few $100 more. And I was like, okay, I knew that's where I was supposed to be. Something was just driving me to that said, this is where you belong today. This is what you need to do. And this is how you're going to make your friend feel better, because she was having such a bad day. And we had a great time. And it was just like, it was the perfect day for me. I was so elated for days after that. And so that's what I enjoy about your teachings, because I do that every day. I try to make sure that I find something positive, and anything that comes up that seems to be negative, I change the perspective to say, okay, there's a reason for this. So I need to take it to heart and adjust accordingly. So it's really a great thing to be doing at this point. Now, Lao Tzu's teachings on Qi and the Tao seem central to your perspective. Now, how is the concept of Qi as a conscious, formless energy and the Taoist path of refining one's spirit change the way you perceive reality and the interconnectedness of all things?
This is a hard one. So I try. I think that Taoism, Buddhism, and Christianity share the same goal, that is to bring us back to our shared spiritual home. They just use the different language and the perspective to reach the same goal. So in Lao Tzu's perspective, he pointed out that the founding fabric of everything in the universe is Qi. It's like the scientists see energy is everything, for Nikola Tesla, right? So, which has no form but has consciousness within. And we see the things with no form, we also feel that has no consciousness. But in these teachings, the sages told us that everything, there is nowhere that has no consciousness. Consciousness has no boundaries. Throughout the universe, it's transparent. So, like if you are a spirit, you can see another spirit, what's on that spirit's mind, because you can see the image in that spirit's body. So, but you think about if you envision 10 or 20 different things in your mind, then you pile those things together. What you can see, you can see nothing, right? It's just you see a bunch of trash. But if you have a clear mind, then there is only one image in your body, and then the other spirit can help you to deliver what you want. It's like that.
Yeah.
So
I've seen many videos of chi masters, and it's the most extraordinary thing to watch somebody do the things that they do because they have tapped into and have mastered their chi, which is their spirit, correct?
It's not the chi, the spirit. It's like this. It's the spirit is like a fractal of the Holy Spirit, right? So our spirit has all the function of God, but most of us, we don't know we have the same function, right? So and also in the end of the teaching, the goal of the teaching is even to let the spirit to forget about the belief of a self, an individual self. So you just relax. You relax all thoughts, all ideas, all beliefs. Then you be one with God or be one with Tao. It's like that. So the Qigong masters, they try to, because most people, we have like too many thoughts, right? So what they do is they close their senses and they want to just receive energy from the universe. And then they use their intention towards their essence, is what we see as energy, right? And they refine that energy as chi, and they use the chi to nurture the spirit. So the spirit can be more enlightened and more bright, right? And when you are more bright, you are more relaxed, happier, and wiser, smarter, and it's a positive spiral go up. Yeah.
Right. Well,
so
thank you so much.
Yeah. So with the view of their dimensions, I can see things much more transparent than before. Yeah. Before I was like, I feel like I'm a very powerless individual in the corner of a mass country like America, right? And I feel like my roots, my families are all over there on the other side of the earth, and I'm here by myself. But now I don't see it that way. And since like, as long as we relax our beliefs, everything become better. Yeah. Remember the word relax. Whenever you feel difficult, stressed, you relax. Yeah.
Right. And I have a friend of mine that whenever I get anxious or whatever, the first thing they will do is say, breathe.
Yes.
Breathe. So that way I can focus on my breathing, and it will force me to relax and bring that anxiety back down. So
yes.
Also, you do what you're saying.
Yeah. Also, you breathe in very deep and hold, because you need to use all your strength to hold. So your other ideas have to be let go for a while.
Right.
So you repeat that process probably for 20 times, and then the problem will go away. I tried that when I have some kind of cramping or something in my body that I didn't feel well. And then I did not have a medicine or any other thing around me. So I just do deep breaths, repeat several times, about 20 times, then the pain will go away. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule for us again. Good luck with the rest of your move. I love your background back there. I mean, the scene.
Yeah, this is
your view is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, you see the Liberty Tower. The Liberty Tower is there. Can you see a little one?
Oh wow!
A little one by the building. That's the tallest one. The little one. That's the Liberty Tower. Yeah.
So are you in New York right now?
Yes, I'm in New York.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, and very happy to see you again.
See you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye.